In the previous video, I touched very briefly on the fact that the new Dr. OctoRex has a two-part interface. Now, quickly looking at the old Dr. Rex again, you can see that everything's packed into one panel. Now, if we look above it to the Dr. OctoRex, we can see that it's a different state of affairs, and we've now got two panels that clearly separate groups of parameters. We can actually close the bottom panel using this little arrow here, and you can see it says Dr. OctoRex Programmer. So this upper section really deals with patches. If you're used to the Dr. Rex, you'll know that it loads one loop at a time. The Dr. OctoRex can load 8 loops at any one time. Now, this is known as a patch, and this upper area deals with these patches. A patch is really just a collection of any 8 loops. So it can be a construction kit of different bongo loops or different tambourine loops or 8 variations of the same groove. In this case, you can see that we've got a library patch loaded up, and this actually appears in the very first list when you load the Dr. OctoRex. So if I click this load area here, you can see we've got default settings, and this one's called Acoustic Drums College 130, and it's got 8 variations of the same drum loop. Now I'll just quickly play through those for you so you can sort of get a handle on how the Dr. OctoRex plays its loops back. So I'm just going to use the run button. So you can see I can switch between them at any time. Now, this collection of loops, as I said before, is saved as a patch, and this is what the upper section really deals with. There are some other parameters like how we trigger our loops, the volume, and obviously the run button that you just saw me use, but most of the interface is taken up by these 8 buttons here. And you can see this is the names of the loops that are loaded up into each slot. This can then be saved using our standard browser, and they can also be loaded from the Reason library or from other areas of your hard disk. We can scroll through them using these small arrows, or as you saw before, I can just click straight on the screen and pick anything from the current folder. Looking at the lower section, and as they call it the programmer, this is everything else. So, this is how we manipulate our loops, how we load different slices, and how we can actually load individual loops into our slots in the upper section. So this is a much more complicated area, and realistically, when you start using the Dr. OctoRex, you could almost get away with just using the upper section and playing back raw loops. But if you want to get serious and you want to get more deeply into your editing, you're going to need to use this lower section and become intimately familiar with it. In later videos, I'm going to get into the really fine detail of all these parameters and show you them in action. But for now, hopefully you've got a good idea of the differences between the upper and lower sections of the main OctoRex interface. For those of you that aren't too sure about the Rex format and the loops that we need to load into the Dr. OctoRex to get some sound out of it, in the next video I'll clean that up for you and explain what the Rex format really is all about.